Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much. His mouth was already on me when I realized Noah was watching across the room. Arya was riding my husband like she'd always known how, but it wasn't jealousy that gripped me, it was heat. When our eyes met, there was no shame, no flinch, just fire. He stayed. He watched. And as Julian pulled me deeper into the rhythm of something we hadn't named yet, I understood what scared me most. I wanted Noah to see everything. Aspen, in late September, always carried a certain kind of quiet, the kind that made you lean into conversation a little closer, laugh a little longer, drink a little more than you probably should. The crowds were gone. The water was colder, but the fire pit still burned at night, and the wine tastings never lost their charm. We met them at the second table. It wasn't planned, just one of those accidental alignments the universe gives you when you least expect it. Arya and Julian, newlyweds from Santa Barbara, all sunshine and suggestion, sat across from us at the Vineyard's twilight pairing event. Her dress was too thin for the mountain air. His shirt was unbuttoned, just enough to say, "We're not in office mode anymore." I remember noticing the way Arya laughed loud, like the world had never told her to be quieter. Noah noticed too. I could tell by the second pour. By the time the third wine hit the table, the four of us were talking like old friends, careers, cities, weddings, regrets. All of it became part of the rhythm. The kind of talk that feels like it's leading somewhere, even if you don't know where yet. Then came the game. Truth or Dare, Retreat Edition. It started innocent enough. Who made the first move? Who's louder in bed? Who's tried what with whom? It wasn't the questions that made my skin flush. It was the way Julian looked at me when he asked them, the way Arya placed her hand on Noah's thigh when she laughed at the answers. It was the way no one apologized for it. That night, back in our room, I pulled my hair into a loose knot, wiped off my lipstick, and crawled beneath the sheets without saying much. Noah followed a minute later, lying beside me in the dark. We didn't touch. Not at first, but we were both wide awake. Outside, the wind from the lake brushed against the glass doors. Inside, my heart beat louder than it should have for a woman 10 years into marriage. "Do you think they would?" I asked, voice soft, staring at the ceiling. Noah turned toward me. "Would what?" I offered a pause. "They'd do it, wouldn't they?" He exhaled slowly. Didn't answer right away. And just like that, the game didn't feel like a game anymore. He just laid there beside me, staring into the dark like it might give him a cleaner version of the question, one that didn't make his pulse shift, one that didn't carry the weight of curiosity he didn't want to admit. "They seem open," he said eventually, voice low. "Guarded open," I echoed. "That's a word." He shifted on the bed, the sheet pulling across his waist as he turned to face me. I could see the outline of his jaw in the dim light, the way it tightened when he thought too hard. "You're serious?" he asked. I didn't blink. "I'm curious." His eyes searched mine, like he was trying to find the joke. But I wasn't smiling. I was just waiting for him. For us. For the silence between us to name itself. "You don't even like sharing dessert," he said, a weak attempt at humor. But his voice cracked in the middle, and that told me more than anything. "I wouldn't be sharing," I said, slipping one leg over his. It would be the way his body reacted before his mind did, that was the truth. His breath caught. His hands flexed. But still, the hesitation lingered behind his eyes. "You want to see me with someone else?" he asked. I tilted my head slightly. "No. I want to see what happens when the rules bend a little." He stared at me for a long time, like maybe he was trying to recognize the woman beside him. Or maybe, just maybe, he already had. The next day passed slowly. Breakfast was awkward in the most polite way. They sat across from us on the deck overlooking the lake. Arya, in oversized sunglasses and bare legs tucked beneath her, Julian shirtless, coffee in hand, eyes scanning Noah like he already knew the answer. We didn't bring it up. Neither did they. But the looks were longer, the smiles slower, the touches not quite accidental. By late afternoon, we ran into them again near the spa lobby. There was something casual about the way Arya said, "We're heading to the lounge tonight. You two should come." And something even more casual about how Julian added, "Midnight's the magic hour, right?" Like he was daring us to prove him right. Back in our room, I poured a glass of wine and sat by the window, watching the lake go silver under the moonlight. Noah stood at the foot of the bed, arms crossed, restless in a way I hadn't seen in a long time. "They're serious," he said. "So are we," I replied, taking a sip. "The question is, what are we serious about?" He didn't answer. He just sat beside me, quiet, letting the silence stretch thin between us again until I said it. "Let's just see what happens if we open the door." And this time, he didn't look away. We showed up just after midnight. The lounge was quiet, half lit, holding its breath. Julian was already there, legs sprawled, a glass of something dark in his hand. Arya stood by the window in a silk wrap that didn't bother hiding much. She turned when we entered and smiled like she'd known we would come. No one said much. Noah walked in behind me, tense, but not turning back. I felt it in the way his hand brushed my lower back light, barely there, but present. We didn't talk strategy. There was no plan. Just space, heat, and a hum beneath the surface that had been building since the first pour of wine 2 nights ago. Arya approached first, not me, him. She walked straight to Noah, hand sliding up his arm like it had always belonged there. I watched his body freeze, then soften. His breath hitched. He didn't pull away. And that's when I felt Julian behind me. He didn't touch me right away, just stood close enough for my skin to notice his breath near my neck, steady and waiting. I didn't wait. I turned, placed a hand on his chest, and looked him in the eye. He raised an eyebrow, lips tugging into something between a smirk and permission. When his mouth found mine, I let it. When his hand slid down my waist, fingers slipping beneath the hem of my dress, I didn't stop him. Across the room, Noah let out a low, startled sound. Arya's lips were already at his throat, her hands working at the buttons of his shirt, like they were a countdown. He didn't stop her either. There was no jealousy, only adrenaline, only hunger, only heat crashing through everything we thought we knew about boundaries. Julian's hand curved behind my thigh, lifting me easily as I leaned into him. The couch found my back before I even noticed we were moving. My dress bunched at my hips, his hands slipping underneath with a purpose that made me exhale sharply and involuntarily. Noah sat now, Arya straddling him with a rhythm that made the room feel smaller. His hands gripped her waist not out of control, but with reverence, like he couldn't believe what he was being allowed to touch. I didn't mean to moan, but when Julian lowered his head and his mouth moved over me with slow, deliberate pressure, it left my lips without permission. Across the room, Noah turned sharply at the sound. Our eyes met for a second, a brief, brutal second. I expected guilt. Instead, what I saw was fire. He was watching, and he was staying. Julian pulled me harder against his mouth, and I arched for him. He didn't speak, didn't rush, just focused, methodical, devastating. My breath stuttered. My hands clawed at the cushions, and when I came, it wasn't quiet. Behind me, Arya laughed a breathy, pleased sound as she rolled her hips harder, drawing out the kind of groan from Noah I'd never heard before. Not with me, not like that. I turned to see him, eyes shut, head tipped back, lips parted. He wasn't pretending anymore. He was there, deep in it. And the strangest part of all? I was glad. If you're still with me, thank you. These stories only exist because of viewers like you. If you'd like to support this channel and help keep it going, you can do so through Super Chat or Super Stickers means more than you know. Julian leaned in, fingers trailing between my legs again, this time slower, like a painter admiring his own work. I grabbed his face and kissed him hard, tasting myself on his mouth. We didn't speak. There was nothing left to say. Noah was watching, and he didn't look away. When the noise settled, we were still there, 2 couples, half-dressed and breathless, surrounded by the scent of sweat, skin, and whatever was left of our old lives. No one spoke. No one reached for their clothes just yet. We sat in the aftermath like survivors of something we asked for, but weren't entirely ready to name. Arya lay curled against Noah's side, her finger drawing lazy circles on his chest. Julian's hand rested over my stomach, steady, warm, grounding. It felt like a room. When we stopped for gas just outside Reno, he asked me if I wanted coffee. I nodded. He didn't have to ask how I took it. Back in the car, 2 paper cups between us, I finally said it. "Do you think we broke something?" He didn't answer right away, just sipped, nodded, then said, "I think maybe we found a crack that was already there." I turned to him. He smiled faintly. Now we know it's there, so we stop pretending we don't feel it under our feet. I didn't realize how much I needed that answer until I heard it. Because that's the truth, isn't it? What we did wasn't an earthquake. It was a magnifying glass. It didn't destroy us. It just showed us where the tension already lived. At home, we unpacked quietly folded clothes, sorted laundry, the mundane act of re-entry. But later that night, while brushing my teeth, I caught Noah watching me in the mirror. Not like before. Not like a man distracted, but like a man trying to remember how to approach someone he's always known but might be seeing for the first time. I spat, wiped my mouth, and turned to him. "What?" He shrugged. "You just seem more awake." I blinked. "I feel it." He nodded again, slow, then added, "I think I'm still catching up." That night, we didn't have sex. We didn't try to reclaim or recreate anything. We just lay together forehead to shoulder, breath to breath. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like we were avoiding each other under the same roof. I felt like we were choosing to stay. We never talked about it in detail. Not the sounds. Not the touches. Not the way Julian's hands felt. Or how Arya moved when she wanted something. We didn't dissect it. We didn't romanticize it either. What happened that night was real. It was raw. And it was ours. No matter how little we understood it in the moment. It didn't ruin us. It didn't save us. It simply peeled something back. Something we had stopped looking at a long time ago. In the weeks that followed, we moved differently. Noah kissed me longer before work. I asked him more questions and actually waited for the answers. We were more honest. Not just about what we wanted, but about what we feared. And maybe that was the most important part. Not the night itself, but the permission it gave us to look closer. People love to say what they'd never do. That they'd never cross a line. Never blur a vow. Never entertain desire outside the walls they built together. And maybe they never will. But I've learned that until the door's cracked open, and someone on the other side looks at you like they already know what you're thinking, you don't really know yourself. What happened in Aspen didn't make me less married. It didn't make me a stranger to my husband. It just reminded me, vividly, almost brutally, that I'm still a woman, still alive in ways I had let drift into sleep. If you're listening, and part of you feels seen even in a way you don't want to admit, you're not alone. Whether you'd say yes, no, or never, I hope you at least ask yourself why this story made you feel something. Curiosity, discomfort, or even just recognition. Drop a comment or leave a like to let me know you're here. If you'd like to hear more stories that explore the quiet, messy truths most people won't say out loud, don't forget to like and subscribe. I promise, there's more where this came from. See you in the next.